Alright, today is July 9th and we're going to be chopping some second cutting on this farm here. This one field is not merged yet. However, some of the other ones that we're going to be flying over are already merged and ready to be chopped. This one particular farm at one time was owned by one of the larger car dealerships here in the area. And all these fields, well, what he had was he had a bunch of beef cattle running on all these fields here, and they had pasture fence all the way around all of them. These fields down in here, they're not merged yet, and I have to keep the drone up in the air quite a ways so that I can maintain signal to the remote. So we had a lot of trouble during first cutting when we were chopping these fields. We had collected a lot of wire. We'll fly over to these larger fields that are in behind this one large restaurant here. They're already merged. We didn't have as much trouble over there as we did on these smaller ones. We have already chopped this one field that's right directly in front of us and the one that borders up next to the road. We have done quite a bit of hedgerow work over here last year before we seeded it down in August of 2019. That field that the rake and 4320 are in, that was chopped yesterday, and then we got one heck of a rainstorm here. And we had to shut down. We actually went over to the Cleverly farm and chopped off a bunch of ground over there. So these fields here, these larger ones, they're all merged and ready to go. What we ended up doing is we ended up merging around the outside and made a real small windrow on the outside of the field, thinking that if we run into trouble with more metal this time around, we can just leave that and maybe just come over and bale it and dump it in the woods. It'd be easier to pick it up that way than the other thought was to just rake it into the hedgerow, but I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to fly the drone back to the truck here. I thought I'd just give you an aerial view of the ground that we had collected all that wire from back during first cutting, and we had a fair amount of metal that we had picked up yesterday in just these three small fields that we're circling back over the top of right now. My truck, I am actually just sitting in a truck on the other side of the road here. You can just about see me now right there. There's a cornfield right directly to your right. I'm sitting in between the cornfield and the hayfield there, so I'm going to land the drone. We got the chopper. Actually, the boys have got the chopper ready to go here. We did get quite a rain shower here yesterday. Actually, some of our ground got upwards of 1.25 inches of rain. So my father cut this field here last night. We should be able to get into chopping this one by late afternoon. So we will join up with you guys here in a little while. When we were chopping the first cotton over here, we had so much wire in this outside windrow that we could not even move chopping it. So I ended up merging it right into the hedgerow here. Kind of a waste. But if we kept after it, we would have. And we've got a piece of wire here now. And Vincent is on the running board. He's going to jump out up front. And he's just going to paw the hay out from the head and pitch it into the woods. We have gave up on trying to find the wire outside of my Mountain Dew bottles and whatever. That's what we grabbed here earlier today. We're finding that it's just a lot quicker to just pick up the little pile and pitch it into the woods. Hedgerow, what have you. It's mainly the outside windrow, and it is just a lot easier to just do it that way. It's Requires a lot of getting in and out, in and out. You search and search and search. You don't find nothing, you get back in, run the wad through again, and bingo, magnet's going off. And a lot of times it could be a piece of wire as big as a paper clip that is essentially like trying to find a needle in a haystack, and you waste a lot of time. So that truck's loaded. He's gonna head out, and we'll roll in with the next truck here. This hay is pretty decent. It did get rained on last night, yesterday, but I'd rather see the hay get rained on during these dry conditions that we're dealing with than not get any rain at all. So they were calling for a 70% chance of showers or thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms yesterday, and we were fortunate enough to get some rain. So we just caught another piece of wire or something, the magnet tripped. And another thing I'm doing is I've enabled the flag function on the Green Star display, and I am dropping a flag every spot where the magnet trips. And what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to go back through when we chop the next cutting off. So we got metal there, so we didn't get, the piece must have fell out of the head. So he's gonna take another stab at forking that out. He forked in a little pile right there. So he's going to fork up the rest of this. And what it might have happened is a piece of wire might have fell out between, or a metal object, might have fallen out between the feed roll and the back side of the head. Now, like I was saying, with the flag option here, we'll be able to go through and see if we end up picking up anything in these same spots. When we do the next cutting, another thing we can do too, if I choose to get a pull behind magnet of some sorts, we can hit these areas. So I'm going to drop another flag, just hit the button there, puts a flag on the screen. We're hoping we get the object this time around, but if we do choose to get a pull behind magnet, like I was saying, we can go to these areas where we have the flags marked on the display. They'll show up on a map, and we'll be able to go after these precise areas here. Okay, we are headed westbound. We are just getting done with that one farm there that had all the wire. Now, like I was saying earlier in the video, there was a fence around every field. So we've got a lot of wire that we've had to deal with. Now I ended up putting a flag in every spot where the metal detector went off. Now it doesn't necessarily mean we actually found any metal, but I wanted to know how many times I tripped the magnet today. So I'll be able to download this information out of this display, and when I harvested that one farm, I harvested it all as one field, so we'll be able to see all the flags on a map. And I'll share that with you once I get it downloaded. Okay, so we've got a couple days worth of chopping left. This is the second to the last day here. And I figured I would have Roger fly my drone. Usually when I'm doing any footage from the drone while we're chopping or doing any kind of field work, I'm trying to fly the damn drone at the same time while I'm chopping or doing whatever. So we hand the controls over to Roger, and then he ends up actually riding with me in the chopper. We had a couple, 3-4 trucks stacked on top of each other. We were kind of waiting for the mergers to catch up. We had one breakdown. Jared's waiting over on deck there, sitting on a windrow. He's waiting for us to get set up. We're going to get going here. we've only got about a day and a half's worth of chopping left. This field here was wheat last year. We ended up putting manure on it after we took the wheat off, and then we seeded it down in August. So this is the second time that we're cutting this here. It's a pretty good seed. We had a merger lay down here a little while ago, and my nephew's down here with the rakes right now on the 4320. You can just barely see him right over there.
Across the road.
So you want me to do it when you're doing this strip, right?
Yeah, just you can see right in through there.
A little square? I
Got it on now.
What's that square?
Nah, it's just the centering.
Alright.
This it's counting up here,
Uh-huh.
so that's working. And then to turn it off, you just hit the.
Where?
Roger, just your video.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he worked really good. Flew the drone right into the trailer. Yeah. And he's flying. He's like this. And he's flying. He's really nervous. I'm like, holy I said, give me that thing. You know, I have to be fluid. So I'm chopping and flying at the same time.
I don't put it out the window, right? I
Yeah.
do it right through.
Oh, you can put it out the window if you want. Yeah.